Hi, and welcome to Hattie Knits Along. My name's Allison, but my friends call me Hattie, and I'm a knitter living in the Pacific Northwest. On this channel, I like to talk about all things knitting, what I'm working on, what you're working on, and what we are currently nerding out about. So if this sounds like something you're into, please subscribe so you never miss a new video. Yesterday was the winter solstice, and it got me thinking about all of my knitting plans. So today's video, I'm going to highlight the plans that I have for this coming season. Most of these I have yarn for, but a few of them are some lofty goals that I don't have yarn for yet. I made a Ravelry bundle called Winter Knitting Plans that you can check out. All the links to everything I'm talking about will be in the description below. And make sure you let me know what you're working on this winter down in the comments below. The first project that I currently have yarn for, and is probably going to be one of the biggest projects I do this winter, is the Easy V by Caitlin Hunter. This is a sweater pattern that is knit top down. It has a colorwork yoke and it has a V-neck, a pretty deep and wide V-neck. I'll post some pictures of it up here. And I bought this yarn when I went to Sacred Sheep in November. So if you missed that vlog, you can check out that up there. But I am using the same colors that Caitlin Hunter used to design this sweater because I'm very much inspired by the colors that she used. So I have this yarn by Ritual Dyes called Elder in the color Clay. This pattern is written for worsted weight yarn, and Elder is 100% Rambouillet yarn. It's not superwash or anything. It's so soft and bouncy though. It's a 2-ply yarn and really beautiful. It's 190 yards for 100 grams. I have 5 skeins of it to make the size 3 probably. This pattern says that you should have a 6 to 8 inches of positive ease, and my bust today measures 38 inches, so I'll probably knit the size 3, which is supposed to have a finished bust circumference of 44 inches, so that would be 6 inches of positive ease. I really like the way Caitlin's looks in the pictures. It's very oversized. It says it has 8 inches of positive ease, and she also knit a size 3, but her bust is 36 inches, so I will probably do a quick gauge swatch to see what my gauge is looking like, just because I tend to be a tight knitter and I do want this to have an oversized look and I don't want it to get too small. So you do the main body, the arms, and the main body in the Elder, and then you do color work in the yoke and at the cuffs in Spin Cycle's Dream State, which is their worsted weight yarn. You do 3 different colors. So the first one is called Stay Ready, and it's like kind of a brown and black and white color. And then the next one's called Castaway, and it's this kind of blues and browns. Some orange in there too. And then the third spin cycle is called Wololo, and it's got like lots of blues, purples, and reds. So I have 2 skeins of each one of those dream states. So I think that should be plenty of yarn to make this sweater, and I'm excited to cast this on. I think in 2025 I really want to make it a goal to knit more sweaters, so starting the year off making this one will be great. And I have some extra motivation to finish this up pretty quickly because like a couple of days ago, Ritual Dyes started a make-along that is their Rambouillet make-along, and they have 2 different Rambouillet yarns. They have Maven and elder. I think Maven is maybe a DK weight. It's a smaller weight than elder, and elder is the worsted weight. So you just have to use one of their Rambouillet yarns in the make along. You have to use it for most of your project. So this has color work in Spin Cycle, but I would say most of it is in the elder. So I think that will qualify. And it started a few days ago and it goes through February 13th. And you have to have a finished object to enter it into the make along to maybe win a prize. So, and then all you have to do is use their hashtag. You can look on Ritual Dye's Instagram to find out what their hashtag is. But anyways, I think that would be a fun, exciting way to motivate me to work on this sweater and get it done by February 13th. And that'll be great because then I have half of the winter left to work on some other things. So that is my first project. The second project that I would really love to work on and finish this winter is the Frame Your Face Cowl by Andrea Mowry. This is a mosaic knit cowl. You knit it in a tube in mosaic, and mosaic means you're like slipping stitches, and it's color work, but you're slipping stitches instead of holding two strands of yarn at once. And I am using, she has two different samples that she knit for this. One was a worsted weight and one was a sport weight, and the sport weight she used Ritual Dye's Sprite yarn. So that's what I picked up. It's this black and white colors. And I got this also at Sacred Sheep. So the black is called Obsidian and the white is called Natural, and they are a 3-ply sport weight, 60% merino and 40% Corriedale, 325 yards for 100 grams. So very soft, but also I think it will have really nice stitch definition in this mosaic cowl, and I'm excited. I also love the black and white high contrast that this is going to have. So I would love to, there's no like timeline for this one, but I would really love to have it finished before the cold weather is finished so that I could wear it out and about. So yeah, I said it is mosaic, it's knit in a tube, and then you do a half twist and you mattress seam it together, and that's how you get this kind of Mobius cowl look to it, which is really fun. Yeah. So that one's going to be hopefully not too slow, pretty quick knit, and I can cast that on soon. The next plan is also kind of a quick knit. It's the Deep Winter Hat by Woolen Pine. This is a single skein hat that is designed in Bear Paw DK, so it's a DK weight, and it is knit from the bottom up with a twisted rib to start and then some cables up through the top of the hat, and it looks really beautiful. I'm excited to knit this. I also got this yarn at Sacred Sheep, so I had all my winter knitting plans in mind when I was purchasing yarn at Sacred Sheep. I got the Bear Paw DK from Farmer's Daughter Fibers, and I got the color Mars of Us. It is a really beautiful, like, rosy red color. And Bear Paw, if you haven't heard of it, is a really interesting yarn because it is 20% yak, 20% silk, and 60% merino, and superwash merino. But it feels so soft because of the yak, but then it also has this really beautiful shine and drape to it because of the silk and the yak as well. And I knit it one other time. I made a cowl for my dad, and I just absolutely loved the stitch definition that it had, and of course the drape that it had. For a hat, I don't really want a lot of drape. I would rather it kind of hold its shape. So I am interested to see how this knits up as a hat, but I do think it would be quite warm. And in this pattern, you can knit it so, or you knit the brim or Yeah, you knit the brim long enough so that you could fold it up if you wanted to wear it folded up, which I will probably do because I think it would hold its shape a little more with it folded up. And, you know, keep it kind of firm to my head. I have a very small head. I will probably knit an adult small on this, but my head is very small and like, I don't know, cylindrical. So it's like even smaller around than it is in general. And so a lot of times I have to wear like kids' hats for them to fit me properly. So I do worry about hats stretching out because I want them to stay the right size and fit on my head. But this yarn just feels really lovely, and I'm excited for the stitch definition of it for those cables. So hopefully it will turn out just fine. And I don't have any specific goals for that hat besides just it looks cute and I wanted to knit it. So hopefully I can do that soon. Finally, I don't have all the yarn for this yet, but I have signed up for Farmer's Daughter Fibers Sock Squad in 2025. And that means I will be getting a skein of sock yarn every month, one full skein and one mini skein every month in 2025. So I actually think that the first one for January is already in the mail on its way to me, which is exciting. I don't like to pick the pattern that I'm going to knit before I see the colorway of the yarn. So I don't know what pattern I'm going to knit yet, but I do know that, well, first of all, after doing this for a whole year, last year, I have a whole bunch of scraps of yarn that in sock yarn that are on all different colors, and it might be fun to incorporate some more colorwork socks. I really love Stone Knit's colorwork socks. They come in amazing different styles, from like whimsical to like really pretty, and they are all very approachable. She has 2 books now. One's called Joyful Colorwork Knit Socks, and that is the second one. And the first one was called Charming Colorwork Knit Socks. I only have the first one so far, but I think I could easily pick up the second one. And she also sells the patterns ad hoc on Ravelry. And anyways, I just love all of her designs, and I think I have enough different colors now where it's easy to make some of those with all the different colors that I have. But other sock designers that I really like are Summer Lee and Stephen West. Summer Lee's are just, I think she may have a similar like foot shape to mine because every one of her patterns just works so well for her, so for my feet. I've tried Andrea Mowry's socks a few times and I just don't really love the fit of them. I think maybe she has a different shaped foot than me because they just don't fit my foot that well. But Summer Lee's socks always fit my feet really well, and I love all of her designs. I also get her Colorwork Cuff Club every month. She has a new colorwork cuff pattern, so she'll email it to you, and it's just for the cuff, which is nice, so you're not having to do like all over colorwork if you don't have to, if you don't want to. But yeah, anyways, I like her designs a lot, and Stephen West is just fun and exciting, and you know, you have every different kind of construction that you could think of, every different stitch style like brioche or ribbing or, you know, welts and all sorts of things that he incorporates, lots of mosaic knitting. So I really like his sock designs as well. I would love to know what other sock designers you guys like, because I'd love some more inspiration this year. I plan on mostly knitting these socks for myself, but I also am open to knitting them for other people if I find a good pattern or think that a colorway suits somebody I know. I might do that. But otherwise, I'll plan to knit them for myself. But I'd love to know what other sock designers I should look into, because I'm pretty locked into those couple that I mentioned. Now I want to talk about some other knits that I think are very lovely sounding, but I don't have the yarn for them yet. So I am pretty much a practical knitter in terms of I like to knit things that I think I will wear, and I like to use the yarn I have before I buy more yarn. I don't have a lot of storage space for a lot of yarn, and honestly, it is overwhelming to me to think about having this huge stash of yarn that I might never get to, because every single day new inspiration comes out and there's something new that I want to knit. And if I just kept buying yarn for things that I liked and wanted to knit, I don't have enough time in my whole life to knit all of those things. So I try to be very practical about it, and I don't want to waste money or time buying things that I'm not going to use. With all that being said, I was completely inspired this week when Caitlin Hunter released the Mozart Pullover. This is a cabled and laced sweater that is knit top down, and it is gorgeous. She used a yarn that is discontinued. She used Knitting for Olive's Double Soft Merino, which is actually a chainette construction, and it's very fluffy and soft, and you can't really tell that it is that from the pictures because it does have a very great stitch definition. But anyways, that yarn is discontinued, so I can't use that same yarn. She offered some substitutions in her description, and one of them was the Wandering Flocks Fluff, which is a worsted weight yarn that I got to see before they released it in November at Sacred Sheep. And it is also a chainette construction. It is 35% Surrey, 15% wool, and 50% Pima cotton. So I think the Double Soft Merino is all merino, but this definitely is like half cotton, so that is a little bit different. But it is so incredibly soft and lightweight too, which is nice because usually cotton yarns can be kind of heavy. So I found on their website the color Sky Blue, and that really spoke to me. I think it would look so pretty in this Mozart pullover. It asks for 5 to 10 inches of positive ease, so I would probably knit a size 2 based off of my current bust measurement, and I'd probably gauge swatch it just because she didn't design the sweater in this yarn, and I don't know, I would like to see how it knits up with it having half cotton in it as well. That makes it a little bit different. So I don't know. I am not going to buy the yarn for this just yet, but just know that it is in my dreams right now, and I'm super inspired by it, and I just really love the design in general. Another one that I have been thinking about for a while but haven't pulled the trigger on yet is Seline Wrap by Brienne Moody, and it is a headband. It has a twist and you knit it long. It has a button in the back that you secure it on with. It's mosaic knitting, and it makes a beautiful checkered kind of look to it, like little boxes. And it uses 1 skein of fingering weight and 1 skein of sport weight. Although you don't use a full skein. Let me see. You use 248 yards of a fingering weight and 200 yards of a sport weight. So I would have to kind of go into my stash and do some measuring, but I might actually have yarn for this in my stash and I wouldn't have to buy anything. I have some leftover Baby Paca, which is a sport weight yarn from the Wandering Flock that I used 1 skein to make a muscle burrow hat, and I used another one to make my oxbow socks. So I have actually 2 leftover of those, and they're really pretty. They have a lot of variegation in them, so I think that they would work with this headband. And I probably have some fingering weight yarn that is enough of that, but I really like the construction of this. I think a headband is pretty versatile. You can wear it even in warmer months, and so I like that aspect of it, that I won't just be knitting something that I wouldn't be able to use until next winter, because I probably won't get to it anytime soon. But anyways, I think you could have a lot of fun with this and mix up the color choices a lot, and knit it to the size you need it to be and everything like that. So, and the final one I'm going to talk about today is the 6 of Daisies cardigan by Lindsay Dagan. And this cardigan is really cool. It's a color work cardigan with this beautiful flower motif on the sides, and it is knit in a bulky weight gauge. They use this yarn called Snefnug by Kama Rose, and it is a bulky weight. It's cotton, alpaca, and silk, maybe? No, cotton, alpaca, and merino. And it's like a blown yarn, so it's pretty fluffy and lightweight, which I think is great for a bulky weight cardigan. I don't want it to be super thick and too warm. The color work on this is really inspiring because you could either do it stranded or you can do intarsia, and I have yet to tackle intarsia, so I think this would be a fun cardigan to try it out on, especially because you do have the option of switching to stranded if the intarsia is not working out for you. So I like that idea of it. I think this sweater looks really cool too. And is super versatile. The colors that yarn comes in, there's like at least a dozen different colors. I didn't count them all. But there's tons of colors, so you could really go nuts with what the choices that you make on that. And let's see, I found it online for $12.04 per 50-gram ball. And so I would need probably 12 balls, no, 10 balls to make the size that I would make it. And that would be like $120. So it's not too bad for a full sweater. Also, you could look on yarnsub.com, and there was lots of other choices that had a similar look. The yarn had a similar look to them in the right gauge. I really love that website for looking up yarn substitutions, because sometimes you just can't find the yarn that somebody used. Especially a lot of European designers will use yarn that is really easy to find in Europe but not easy to find here, and so that's a great way to find the yarn that you have available to you here and figure out which ones work best for you. Anyways, Dagan is not European, but I just was thinking about that website. So anyways, I probably don't have time to make this winter, but never say never. And if I do find myself having some extra time, I think this would be an easy one to get the yarn for and start working up. And a bulky weight gauge makes it go by pretty quick. So anyways, I think it's just so cute and I would love to have it in my wardrobe. There were a couple other patterns in my Winter Knits Ravelry bundle, and I didn't get to talk about those today, but one is the Avenue Vest by Tori Knits, and the other is the Gushy Garter Hat by Park Williams. And both of these patterns look really fun and versatile. I think you could have a lot of fun with the yarns that you choose for those patterns. And I just know me, they're like not high enough up on my priority list that I would probably get to them this winter. And I don't have yarn for them currently. So I didn't talk too much about them, but if you want to check those out, they are in the Ravelry bundle below. And also, I would just love to know what your winter knitting plans are. Please make sure that you leave a comment. You could also send me a DM on Instagram and tell me what you're working on, or send me an email at hattyknitsalong@gmail.com. I'm just so interested in what all of you are doing, especially while you're watching these videos. What are you working on? Anyways, thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed so far. If you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and do so. Like and comment on this video because it really helps me reach more people and get more people to see this video. I hope you have some really special happy holidays this year and a very happy new year. If I don't see you before then, happy knitting. Bye.